So hey guys, what I want to take you through is how to use the phone setup. So the actual plantronics headset, the plantronics amplifier, and then the phone using asterisks. The first thing I want to explain to you is what actually happens is the call comes in. Now normally one way you can talk is through the handset here, okay? And if you pick that up, whatever you're doing in here, it'll just go here. This won't work. It'll work through here, okay? So that's the first thing. Maybe pick up the handset, forget about this stuff. That's where the call's coming through, all right? Now, what actually happens is the phone outputs on the back of the phone. You've got basically an output, and what happens is that output puts the signal out to an amplifier, okay? Now that amplifier looks like this, and all this does, it amplifies the signal, so when it gets to here, you can hear it. If you didn't have this and you had this plugged into there, you wouldn't be hearing very much at all, okay? So this amplifies that, and this has an interesting thing. It has the mute button, all right? So you can actually mute, which will stop whatever you're saying here, it won't get through to there, okay? It'll literally stop it there. So you have the ability to mute at this level, and most people use that. On the amplifier, you also have a speaker or a volume setting, which goes from 1 up to 9. Now realistically, either I'm hard at hearing, but I never really put it below about 7, okay? I find that it's just too light. Maybe you've got greatest hearing in the world, fantastic, but generally I find 7. Now if the batteries are getting flat, you'll find that you may be putting it right up to 9. So one of the telltale signs is if you can't hear through here, you check the battery, okay? If it's up too far, check the battery. And all you do to replace the batteries is you just pull this off, okay? Pull the batteries out, and if you actually look in there, okay, you'll see which way the batteries go. Alright, so it actually shows you, there's a picture of which ways the batteries go. Put some of your batteries in. The batteries, look, if you're talking, normal 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, they're probably going to last 2-3 months, okay? So you should be replacing them every 2 or 3 months. If you had them and every 2 weeks you're replacing them, it's not the batteries, okay? So that's the first thing. Alright, so what actually happens, that's the amplifier. You've got the headset that plugs in here. Now the headset, you'll notice there's a green here. You press it, depress it. All that does, that stops the headset from working. So in normal operation, you'll have it on about 7, you'll have it green, and you'll have it non-green, okay? Unless you want to mute, in which case you're green, alright? So that's normal operation, alright? Now, put this back in. These headsets, they're plantronics headsets, they're top of the line headsets, okay? And they're called binaural, which means they've got both ears, okay, versus monaural. Okay, so both ears, obviously, lots going on around you when you're speaking. This will shut off some of the noise going around you so you can just focus in on the client. What you've also got is the boom, which is the speaker, if you like, the microphone, okay? And this microphone is a special piece of equipment, right? These are designed specifically for telemarketing. And what it effectively means is it has two microphones here, one either side. So basically the way this works is this. Everything that goes in there, that doesn't come in there, gets sent through to the phone, alright? Everything that comes in both sides gets filtered out. Now that means you can be sitting here talking, okay, with this beside your mouth, someone's shouting at you like this, and because what's actually happening is, that's coming in this side, not necessarily that side, it's going to get filtered out. But the stuff on this side, not that side, that's going to go through. So what it means, the experience, you can have lots of noise going around you, but in actual fact what the client hears is what you're saying, okay? So don't be afraid when people shout beside you, or if you say that someone's giving you coaching, that's fine, no problems whatsoever. Alright, so realistically, nothing goes wrong with these, alright, unless you pull them, rip them, tear them, that sort of thing, alright? Now, what you also have on all these is the ability to a quick release, alright? So if you wanted to, you can have this attached to yourself, you can leave your headset on, and if you need to go to the toilet, you just unhook and go for a walk, alright? So, quick release, all that sort of stuff, alright? All the way through. So, now, let's look at some troubleshooting. Most of the time, the first thing is, it's not going to be loud enough, you can't hear the person, alright? Now, if you can't hear the person, normally, it's not going to be this, okay? Under most circumstances, it's not going to be this. So you can avoid this. Have a look at it, if there's nothing wrong with it, it's fine. Great, we've got a phone call. But anyway, if it's looking alright, no problems. Go to this, check this. If you find that the speaker's up to 9, it may be the batteries. Right? The other side of it is, what you have down here in the phone, okay, is a speaker. Now, if I'm not on a call, okay, and I turn that up, that's the ringer volume, okay, as you can see. volume or the ringer volume, however high you want it. Now, realistically, that's got nothing to do when you're on a call. If you pick the call up, okay, and you're on a call and now you do it, this is the handset volume. So you see it says handset volume. And if you move that up or down, that'll enable you to actually put the speaker up or down. So what you find is if you've got the speaker on the actual phone up really high, the problem you face is this. When you put this up to full, and that speaker, what happens, that speaker is outputting at its maximum volume, and you lose some of the quality, the core clarity. So what happens, it outputs maximum volume to the amplifier, okay, and it's not as good a quality signal, so by the time it gets to here, you're going to find it's a pretty crap signal. And if you're getting that, then what you need to do is you need to move this to about half of your handset volume. If you sit this on about half, it outputs a really good signal to the amplifier, and then if you put this on about 7, that'll output a really good to here. Alright? So that's just some basic troubleshooting. Alright? Now some other troubleshooting that you can do, alright, assuming all the right holes are plugged in the right space, okay, which is a given, the battery's fine. You've got this little white thing on the back, and if you haven't, see your mate, he'll have one. Now if I take off this, now most of this should be set up, alright? You'll see that I've got 2 dials. This one and this one. That should pretty much always be on the 5, okay, number 5, alright? So if it's not, just move it across, just by doing that, alright? Then what you can do is you can play with this, okay, moving it up or down. So what you do is you jump on a phone call, you call your mate, make sure he's out of the room, okay, so call him on his mobile, and have a chat to him. And he'll start talking and say, right, and all you do is you start at one end and you go, is this better than that? So I move from one side to the next. Then I move it a little bit further up to a little bit further up. And I slowly hone in on what is the best and optimal call clarity, okay? And once you've done that, assuming you've got good batteries, assuming you've got all the holes plugged in right, then there should be nothing else wrong with these things, okay? Now the only other thing that can go wrong, very rarely, but if it does, is if you open up this and you notice the batteries are corroded, or you look inside here and you notice there's corrosion, sometimes what happens is the battery doesn't get through. So what you're best to do, grab a toothbrush, grab a tissue and just rub in there really well. And possibly rub through here and get all that out. Or go and see the IT and get them to get you a new one, because that's probably the best idea, is just get a new one. Okay? So guys, that pretty much sums up everything that go wrong with, or how to troubleshoot, how to actually fix these things up. It's pretty simple, and as long as you follow the rules, it's no problem. Now just so you know, this from the phone goes into the telephone there. Alright? So the far one. And then there's only one at the front. Alright, have a great day, and remember, live with passion.